So who is Rockstar's greatest protagonist? To be honest, it's a really good question, but I would have to say Arthur Morgan, because Arthur Morgan has more better character development than the other characters like John Marston and the Grand Theft Auto characters like Michael, Trevor, Nico, and Franklin and stuff like that. But in the future, I will talk about who is the best Grand Theft Auto 5 character in the game. But right now, I'm talking about Arthur Morgan and John Marston. Because in my personal opinion, they're actually two of my best Rockstar characters. It used to be Trevor Phillips, but when we get back to when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, that's when we find out more about John Marston's character, and we find more about, and we also find about Arthur Morgan's character. But anyways, Arthur Morgan is, my personal opinion, my own favorite Rockstar character, because we just see him like as just a better character. He's just, I don't know what makes him better than the other characters. His backstory, better, the strongest member of the gang, of the Vanderlyn gang, or something like that. I don't know. Arthur Morgan is just, and even Arthur Morgan's just a tiny bit better than John, because we find out that Arthur Morgan has suffered with a lot of depression and I think anxiety because of his backstory, about his wife. About his girlfriend Eliza and his son Isaac. They both got shot by the law. Not by the law, by some outlaws and stuff. And that's why he's been suffering with a lot of depression. But, however, Arthur tried to have a girlfriend named Mary, but unfortunately Mary moved out because of Arthur Morgan's troublemaking issues and Arthur's anger. Not to mention, even if you play as Arthur, Arthur's just better to play as John. Arthur's better, Arthur can swim, and in the first game, if you go into the water, you die in the game immediately. Even if you play as John or Jack, you die in the game. And even in the second game, when you play as John, you immediately sink like a rock, slowly. But that's not the point. It's just Arthur's just it's hard to say really, but Arthur Morgan is just, I guess you could say he's just more better character development than John. Because Arthur thinks and John doesn't think. However, Arthur's at the first part of the game of Red Dead Redemption 2, you do see Arthur Morgan as kind of a bit of a dick, and also kind of a bit of, obviously, an asshole. Well, a little bit of a douchebag, but still. But once when you get to know Arthur, you see his personal backstory, and you'll show him why Arthur is, I guess you could say, a better character than John. Then again, this is just my own personal dumb opinion. Everybody's different. A lot of people like John more than Arthur, and a lot of people like more of Arthur than John. But I just like Arthur a tiny bit better than John Marston, in my opinion. Now, when we get to play as John Marston in the second game, he doesn't think. You see, and also in the beginning of the second part of the game, you kind of find out that John Marston's kind of a bit of a piece of shit in the game at first, because he didn't want to believe that Jack, his son, was his. But as when, when you play through the end of chapter 3, you kind of feel like that, I'm sorry. In chapter 3, you get to see John Marston caring about his son because Jack Marston got kidnapped by Angela Bronte. You kind of feel like that John's more better now than what he was back then. I mean, than what he was in the beginning part of the game. You get to see that John Marston finally cares about his family. That he's not like a big piece of shit. And it's like, but still, like, it's still like, what the fuck? John Marston becoming a piece of shit that we didn't know, but then in the first game, like, John Marston was a legendary badass. It kind of fucked people up, and even it kind of fucked up. But it fucked up when John Marston died in the first game. But still, like, personally, I know this is too much information, but still, like, what do you guys think of Arthur Morgan and John Marston? Do you like John Marston and Arthur, or do you like the other Rockstar character games? Let me know in the comments section